It's that time again. It's time to Pop Your Astro live. And a very good evening to you. It is Tuesday, the 12th of October, 8 p.m. And it is Pop Your Astro Live, blazing onto your screens like a meteor hitting startled dinosaurs. Huh? This is Pop Astro Live. The cheerfulness belies a certain amount of despair I'm going through tonight. Would you like a biscuit? Would you like a Maltesers biscuit orange? Would you like one? Snap 'em, crunch 'em, love 'em. Yeah, all of them. I'm afraid you can't have a biscuit because I've eaten them all, and I'm really paying the price right now. That was a very bad move. This week, I am chatting with Paul Cass, friend of the big observatories, with tales of sight testing in Palma and Australia, when those observatories were just a gleam in someone's eye. And the Society of the Week is Swindon Stargazers with Owen Brazell, fresh back from Kelling Heath Star Party. And we have news of a big event taking place in Marlborough at the end of the month. Mugs will be plugged at their current price. Laughs will be had. And sloths will be launched. So please start sharing the video. It helps immensely with our algorithms. And I've got a bone to pick with, I think, maybe about 52 of you. Last week on our very live viewing figures, it said we had 60 live viewers, which is great. I watch big shows from all around the world, and they that's about the average sometimes. But only 6 people shared the stream at the time of broadcast. So it's really important to everybody who's watching this. Please hit the share button. And if you're watching this in the future from now, hey, you happy time traveler, please share the video as well, because it still helps. And you never know, this video might land on the timeline of somebody who doesn't know much about astronomy or sloths. They need to know more, and you may change their life. 11 comments, 13 comments. Hey, everybody, all my gorgeous regulars. I love you so much. Hey, my mum's here at the minute, and she's brought a big box of clothes from home in Cheshire. She brought me this back. Can you see it? Now, Dallas Campbell told me what it was. I'm sure someone else knows what it is. I can't remember the specific mission, but it's quite a cool dude of a hoodie. Please drop in the comments which mission it is from, please. Oh, what does the helmet go round? Ah! It's if you don't know what it is, it actually looks like I'm wearing some kind of deep sea diver's outfit. So I'd like to know what mission this is from, please. Hello, everybody. Greeting from Cassie and the Ragdolls. Hello, Paulina. So lovely to have you. Yes, please. Why are people typing yes? What question did I ask? Maybe you wanted a biscuit. Madeline Dunn, the lady with the pussycat face. What's new, pussycat? Ian Cox. Hello, not the Ian Cox, manager of Golden Square Shopping Centre in Warrington. Surely, Paul Sutherland and Pip the comments. We had a great Zoom this morning, me, Paul and Robin, chatting about upcoming guests on Pop Astro Live and fantastic new features. It was great to speak to you. In fact, my throat's still sore from this morning. Ian Crockford, you're going to enjoy our feature later on called Rockery or Crockery, Ian, because of the first syllable of your surname is vaguely similar to crockery. Samantha Seal! Yeah! Vicky and Cosmo. Woohoo! Good evening, everybody. And the Monsieur, all in I, my tango twin. Wonderful. Watching in Bordeaux, France. Very good, everybody. Thank you for such Alan Shepherd's mission. Thank you, Bob. Thank you very much. Okay. So I've got very sad news for you all. Plug the mugs at the current price. Plug the mugs at the current price. Plug the mugs at the current price. Plug the mugs. The mugs and apparel, that means clothing in business speak, will be going up in price in the next couple of days. So if you want to get your merch at a reasonable price. It's still going to be excellent value, but the mugs are going to be going up to about £9.99, which I'm reliably informed is less than a National Trust mug. And astronomy's always been more exciting than red squirrels. So, you know, squirrels and roundabouts. Hello, everyone. Sheila, apparently there were some draconids the other night. Sadly, I miss them. Oh, hi, Sheila. Lovely to have you along, Sheila. Please come back next week. Okay. Okay, well, our first guest this evening is Shedun Astromanian. Is amazing. Thank you very much. That's so appreciated, honestly. Our first guest this evening is Owen Brazell from Swindon Stargazers, and he is fresh back from Kelling Heath Star Party, Bob Jessamine. We love you, Bob. Okay, Owen, you're coming on in 3, 2, 1. Hello, Owen.
Good evening, Vicky.
Good evening, Owen. How are you this evening?
Very well, thanks.
Now then, where are you from tonight?
Well, I'm based between Swindon and Oxford, but I'm a member of Swindon Stargazers as well as the Abingdon Society.
Very good, very good. Hopefully their fees are due at different times during the year, so you're not walloped with a big double bill, because sometimes I'm a member of Mac Astro and Mid Cheshire Astro. Hello, everybody from there. Owen, where are you fresh back from this past couple of days?
So I spent the last week at the Kelling Star Party in Norfolk, which is one of the biggest star parties, well, possibly even in the world. I mean, we probably had maybe 400 people, maybe more this time. So it was pretty full. It's a sort of different scale to most of the other star parties in the UK, which are probably a maximum of 100, 150 people. So it's a different ball game, both in terms of people numbers and the kind of telescopes you might see there.
So I'm trying to get it into my head. That's 400 or 500 people camping, or just visitors footfall through?
That's people camping, though given the average age of astronomers now, I think most people have a caravan or a motorhome rather than camp like they used to.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm trying my best. Me and Cosmo, I mean, he's probably an average, a maximum of 3 years old. Between us, we are really trying to bring down that average age demographic. So tell us a little bit about what it was like there then. That must be a huge campsite.
Well, it is a huge campsite. It's a place called Kelling Heath in Norfolk. And as I said, there's probably 300 or 400 pictures there. If you like, I can share a screen with us and show you a few pictures of what we have.
Great. So I'll just fix my little fluorescent halo.
So this would be a fairly typical picture from a couple of years back. You can see there's rather more tents than caravans at this point. But we can see as time moves on that we're starting to see here more caravans and much larger telescopes. So here we would see both a 22 and a 24-inch Dobsonian. And although that might be thinking that these are oddballs, in fact there are probably a fair number of telescopes in the 18 to 20-inch class there, along with many other types of scopes. So we have people bringing refractors, we have people doing solar observing during the daytime, and again you can see here this was been not atypical from the weather we had last week. We had reasonably clear skies, though very misty if you were going to try and look at anything very faint. But with the exception of the gales on Monday and on Tuesday and Wednesday, we had some form of clear sky pretty much every night. And you can see here another sort of a selection of the shorter Dobsonians that you might find. These are both 20-inch class, but of different focal ratios. So it gives a feel for what you might see there. And again, you can see some people do like camping, though if the weather's as windy and chilly as it was last week, then I think you have to be fairly brave to do that. But there are also smaller telescopes. So you can see here sort of classical Schmidt-Cassegrains, or celestrons, I would believe in that case, and the kind of small amounts that you might see there. And on the Saturday, we have a collection of vendors turn up and societies as well. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the SPA there for quite a long time now. I believe it's difficult to get people to come and put out and bring stuff along. So Gwyneth asked which one's mine. It was of the larger ones, and the first one, it was the black one on the right. So that was be a 22-inch Dobsonian.
Wow. Oh,
So,
Sean, it's okay. You can stay behind after class, Sean Fullard. That looks fantastic. And every time Kelling is on, it catches me out because I go, oh, why haven't I gone there? And then I've just looked, and Anglesey, right, this blimmin' thing is reversed. Anglesey is on the west side of the country, and where you are is so far on the east, and it's nearly a 7-hour drive for me. So I won't be doing that in a hurry, I don't think.
Well, there are 2 of them every year, Vicky. So they tend to take place in March, April, and September, October. So traditionally they were held around the equinoxes. I agree, the travelling, I mean, it was over 5 hours each way for me due to roadworks. So it's a long haul, really, from almost anywhere in the country to get there. And unfortunately, we don't tend to have any large star parties in the West. There are a couple of small ones, obviously. There used to be an SGL one up near Hereford, and occasionally there's one in South Wales, in the Brecon area. But for, I guess, various reasons, the Kelling one seems to become one of the largest ones. There are other ones up north. So Kielder has one again, March, October. There's one in Galloway in Scotland. Though I don't think you need a passport for it yet, but we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
So there are a few of these things around.
Oh, okay. So you are on as our Society of the Week. Would you like to tell us what your society is, first of all?
Yes, so I'm representing Swindon Stargazers tonight. So it's a relatively young society. It was formed in 2009, primarily from people that had met each other via the Stargazers Lounge forum, and the chairman at the time was Peter Struve, and Peter came from a long line of astronomers, mostly from Russia and more lately in the US. So he started the society, and it kept going, and is now, what, I guess 12 years, and it's grown a bit. We have about 25 members now. We're back to meeting physically, unlike many other societies, and we meet in a village hall just outside Swindon now. And the original idea was we could have sort of dark skies, but we didn't realize that the hall actually backs onto a cemetery, so perhaps not the best place to put your telescopes. We've had the usual sort of mix of members, so I would suggest that most of the active observing members are probably imagers now, which is probably similar to most societies. There are a few people who still look through telescopes, but probably most of them are imagers. And we have been working on several outreach projects. So we've had people down for the Mercury transits at Avebury, which I guess is sort of fitting, since some people think it's an astronomical connotations. But we're also heavily involved in giving talks, or we were until the pandemic, to Cubs and Scouts and schools in the area. So hopefully next year perhaps we'll be able to restart those. We also try to run observing sessions, but in general these are foiled by the weather, and I suspect that's probably not dissimilar to most people. And our next sort of outreach event, and I saw that you mentioned that right at the beginning, is that we'll be helping out with the public stargazing at the Marlborough Dark Skies Festival at the end of this month. So that's the Saturday and Sunday, or Friday, Saturday and Sunday of the 29th, 30th, 31st. So there'll be a number of members out there with telescopes, and also having part of the displays of the centre of Marlborough to do with that. So we have we sort of meet on the third Friday of the month. So our next meeting will be well, this Friday actually, and that'll be the director of the Marlborough College Observatory talking on the oldest go-to telescope in the world, which in this case is a 10-inch refractor, a 10-inch Cook. So whether Kate Middleton ever looked through it when she was there, I don't know, but who knows.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Wow. So how do we get involved with your society then?
So we have a website and a Facebook page, so you can contact the members of the committee through that, or you can just turn up at one of the meetings. We have a relatively cheap membership for the year, and as I said, we're hoping that COVID permitting, we'll now be back to regular face-to-face meetings, and as I said, we're getting about 20 to 25 people at the moment. Whether that will increase as people get more confident with the situation, we'll have to see.
Okay, so you are quite a well-published astronomer. You have got an article coming up in one of our magazines.
That's right. I also write a regular monthly deep sky column for Astronomy Now on challenging deep sky objects, and I've just written something for Robin for the Pop Astro, which I guess is coming out in January timeframe.
And what's your article?
The article is on observing planetary nebulae, which are the end products of stars like the Sun or that kind of mass range.
Oh, great. Okay, so then tell us about how you got into astronomy to begin with then.
Well, that was many, many years ago. My mother took me to look for a comet, Ikasiki, in 1965, which slightly dates me, though you might think it's a longer time from the beard. And that got my interest peaked, and I got my first telescope when I was 9, and sort of went through the usual sagas of doing, well, at that time, O-level astronomy, and I did a degree in astronomy and astrophysics as well, and then found that there were no jobs in astronomy, so I ended up spending my life traveling the world looking for oil, which was entertaining.
What's your favorite thing to observe then?
So my favorite things are actually planetary nebulae. I find they're both challenging for some of the large and faint ones, and they're challenging for the bright ones to see lots of detail in them. So, and you can use almost any form of telescope, from, well, binoculars for some of the largest ones, right up to the large telescopes you saw in the presentation of Kelling Heath.
Right. Okay. So there's a challenge for you with your. Have you tried any of these? While you were at Kelling, did you try any of the new digiscopes?
I didn't see one of them around. They tend to be quite expensive now, and they're about £3,000 or more. So we'll be interested to see if they start to pick up, just because of the pricing. And obviously with the newer ones, you have to use a phone or a tablet to actually view the image. They don't have any form of eyepiece with them at all.
Yeah, they look like a weird, unusual blind insect almost, don't they?
Well, it's a tricky one, because they're only 4.5 inches in, or the mirror is only 4.5 inches in diameter, so it's still a very small telescope. Though obviously with the imaging capability, it will act like a much larger one. So we'll have to see what they do. But many people now are attaching real-time cameras to their telescopes and doing what we call EAA, or electronically enhanced astronomy. And you see that the EV scope is sort of the ultimate end of that line. where you don't have to do anything. You just put it down, it figures out where it is, and then off it goes.
Owen, I'm just here now. Let's have a little dive in depth about the Marlborough Dark Skies Fest. It says it here. It's Marlborough's first festival of arts and science dedicated to celebrating the night sky. It's got the Museum of the Moon there. It's 25th to the 31st of October. What are you going to be doing there?
So we'll be doing two things, or I'll be doing two things. I'll be helping out on our stand at the village, at the town hall on the Saturday and Sunday. And we'll also be running some public observing nights up on the Marlborough Common. It's got a little confused now. There seem to be various groups running separate observing sessions. So it looks like Bath and Wiltshire are running an observing session somewhere to the west of the town. And also there will be observing using the 10-inch Cook at the Marlborough College Observatory, though that will just be for selected time sessions. You can't just turn up and hope. You have to book a slot, I believe, for that one. So this is the third attempt to hold this. So the first attempt was there was some issues. The second attempt, obviously, with COVID, took care of. So this is the third attempt, and there are a large number of lectures, sort of, I think, terminating with Chris Lintop from Sky at Night. But a lot of sort of social media astronomers will be talking there on whatever they get up to, as well as you said, this moon sculpture.
Have you seen Luke Jerome's Museum of the Moon yet?
I haven't. No, the moon is not one of my one of my favorite targets. So I used to have a T-shirt that would have gone down well, which says "Stop light pollution, nuke the moon." So
wow. Well, I tell you what, you can give your moon disapproval a couple of days off and enjoy the majesty of Museum of the Moon, because it really is one of the most mesmerizing things I've ever seen. It's excellent. Although I'm more of a fan of Gaia, the Earth one. So, Owen, now, SPA people who might be going to the event, there will be an SPA stand at the event. We've got Sally Russell there and the wonderful Mary McIntyre. Have you met Mary before, Owen?
Yes, I have different views on Mary McIntyre, I think, to most people, so we'll see.
Well, she's a very good friend of mine and an amazing human being. So please go and say hello to the SPA stand at the Marlborough Dark Skies Fest. Owen, how's your general knowledge, or astronomy knowledge?
Well, average, I would say.
Average. So what we do with our societies of the week who come and join us is we ask you 5 little astronomy questions, and a la Top Gear, we put you on a leaderboard that hasn't been built yet. But would it be all right if I ask you a couple of questions that I've harvested from the internet about astronomy and cosmology?
Well, we can try it and see if I can answer them.
Now, this only started last week, so we have only got one person on the leaderboard, who is Owen from Mid Cheshire Astro. You've got 3 to beat, and you're playing for the speedboats. Okay. Okay, so it's called Universe Witty Challenge, not my name, Paul Sutherland's name. Maybe we could be in the market for a new name. And it's the best of 5. Okay, so here we go. It's a good cross section of questions. What happened at 3 p.m. UTC on the 6th of August 2012? Yeah, basically what happened on the 6th of August 2012?
I have no idea.
Curiosity landed inside Gale Crater on Mars. So, second question. Robert Wilson and Arno Penzias discovered what?
The cosmic background radiation.
Well done. I thought you'd know that one. Easy. Hey. Yes, on the 20th of May, 1964, American radio astronomers Robert Wilson and Arno Penzias discovered the cosmic microwave background. I call this my cosmic microwave backdrop. It's the ancient light that began saturating the universe 380,000 years after its creation. And they did so pretty much by accident. Would you like to just elaborate a tiny bit on that for no extra bonus points?
Yes, they were working for Bell Laboratories, and they were trying to discover the source of a background hiss that they were getting, and in the microwave region. So they had an antenna that they were going around the sky, and they checked everything out, including getting rid of all the pigeons that were making droppings in the antenna. And basically, they found this, and they weren't sure what it was, but at the same time, a group led by Robert Dick at Princeton, had summarized that this might be what would be around. So by the two groups getting together, they figured out that that's what they'd actually found, was that the remnants of the cosmic background.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. Now, I'm quite pleased with this question. I think it's a good question. Thank you for that, Robin. I'll just read that out, actually. So the SPA will be at Marlborough on Saturday and Sunday, the 30th and 31st of October. There we go. Since 2012, what has become more circular and has been shrinking at a faster rate of about 580 miles per year?
Sorry, what was the question?
Sorry, it's not worded particularly well. Right, okay. Since 2012, what has become more circular and has been shrinking at a rate of about 580 miles per year?
I have no idea.
Jupiter's red spot. Okay, so how many questions have I got? I thought that was 4, but it might have only been 3. I might have to give you a bonus one offline later. Okay.
That was 3.
That was 3. Oh, I've missed a question out. So while I'm asking this next question, somebody please type an astronomy question for me into the comments, Paul or Robin, and that can be the next question to save me Googling it. Basic counting is not a strong point of mine, but being flamboyant with the sloth is. Okay, so this next one, sometimes we play crater or potato. Is it a crater or is it a potato? But tonight it's rockery or crockery. Is it an asteroid or is it an IKEA dinner service? And it's a fairly binary choice here. It's either an asteroid or an IKEA dinner service. So it's not quite multiple choice. And the name is, got to turn your head on your side to read it because it's an odd word. Fagklar. Rockery or crockery? Fagklar.
I would say that sounds like crockery.
You are correct. Well done. So you got 2 out of 4, and we need that evasive one last question. Look, I'll Google astronomy questions. This is why I have not been hired to present any astronomy. I'm going to ask you one last question offline.
Okay.
Because the questions here are all too easy, and you've really got to dig deep to dig deep. No, you're not going to know all the answers to them. They're like GCSE ones. Owen, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for explaining to us about Swindon Stargazers and Kelling and Marlborough. And thank you very, very much. And please join Swindon Stargazers, and Swindon Stargazers, please join the SPA. How about that for a bit of a reciprocal publicity? Great work, Owen. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. 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 Great stuff from Owen there. And I missed a question out. Whoops. I must remember to count my questions in future. I must introduce. Too late now. Too late. Thank you, Owen. Yes, great. Thank you for all your great comments there, everybody. I think I just need a little drink of water. Talk amongst yourselves. Really, I should be drinking this out of an SPA cup, but they're just not convenient to have around electronics. That was so much fun. Right. What's happening in the chat room? If some of our planets weigh fairly the same weight, why don't they crash into the sun or buzz off? So That is a great question there. Please feel free to answer this. I know Monsieur All in I is relatively new to the world of astronomy, and that is what makes the SPA such a great organization for everybody, because it doesn't matter what level you are. We welcome newbies with new questions that to some of the more advanced astronomers might seem obvious, but we were all at ground zero, as it were, once with our knowledge. So feel free to answer that question, please. That would be great. Let's have a look here. When is the next SPA meeting, Robin? Please let us know. Society of the Week. Yes, I got that, Paul. I'm just scrolling through. Sean, yeah. Okay, great stuff. Okay, so in a moment, we are going to go over to Paul Cass, friend of the big observatories, and with his tales of site testing in La Palma. Cosmo, you are not due on just yet. You're going to just have to sit tight and wait. Okay, let's go over to Paul. Paul in 3, 2, oh, here we go. The next SPA meeting is on 30th of October, so it clashes with one day of Marlborough event, an online meeting in the... Oh, Susie! So I was at Solar Sphere, Pete Williamson's festival, which I can't wait for Solar Sphere to come back. It is beautiful. It's a star party stroke music and science festival down in mid Wales. And there was this suddenly a tall, elegant blonde lady there. I hadn't watched So You Think You Want to Be an Astronaut, or whatever the name of the BBC show was, Astronauts maybe. And I had no idea that she had been the winner of it. And she did this talk, and it turns out that she is one of the most hardcore, kick-ass humans on the planet. She has done so much stuff, from conquering the rowing world to some bizarre martial arts that I seem to recall involves standing on your hands, handstands, to discovering mountains in South America that haven't been discovered before, to working on Bepi Colombo. What? Amazing, amazing. Susie Imber is... Sorry, Susie, I think I probably got a couple of your facts wrong there, but the general gist is you've done a lot with your life and you are amazing. And I launched a bottle rocket with you. Good times. Is it true? Is it true that you can use the plow to tell the time? It's time that you bought a tractor. Oh, Monsieur Rollinite, it is fine. I know that you're typing on a French keyboard, which bizarrely is completely different layout from a British keyboard. Crazy, honestly. I can't imagine how it must be for these authors who go, I'm going to write my book in France now, and you get confronted with a French keyboard. What? You have to learn how to type all over again. So we're now going to go over to Paul Cass. Here we go, Paul. There we go. Hey, Paul.
Hello, how are you?
Good evening, Mr. Cass. Whereabouts are you calling from tonight?
I'm in North Yorkshire near Whitby.
Oh, near Whitby. I saw some burnt Whitby scampi just the other day on somebody's plate. Not how they're supposed to look. Are you into your seafood?
Chips, actually, so I know what you mean.
How did you have your fish?
Well, just crumbed, in batter.
Ooh. Did you make it yourself, or was it out of a pack?
No, this is from the fish and chip shop across the road from where we live.
Oh my gosh, that must be so good then. So there's a fantastic word which I think is hundreds and hundreds of years old, and it's fallen out of favor now. But you know that feeling you get when you have a big carby meal and you're just like so happy? Do you know what that's called?
No.
It's called belly cheer. Isn't that fantastic? That is fantastic. So I'm assuming...
I just want to congratulate Owen on getting 2 questions right. I only got 1 of those questions right. So well done, Owen.
The quiz master failed, but there we go. Owen, the next question's in the post. I'll ring you up at some point this week, Owen, and press gang you with the question. Okay. Paul, so you have got quite an unusual history in the world of astronomy. Would you like to just give us a little overview of who you are and what you've done?
Well, I first became interested in astronomy in 1963 when I was living in London. and we used to go to the library, and I borrowed a library book written by Patrick Moore called The Amateur Astronomer. And that's what really got me into astronomy. And so I'm a sort of lifelong amateur astronomer, an astronomy enthusiast. But I've also worked in various aspects of astronomy. I was lucky enough to go on the site testing project in the 1970s. And then after that, I worked at the Royal Greenwich Observatory, the Royal Observatory Edinburgh. In Australia, I spent 25 years at the UK Schmidt telescope. And there are probably other things I've done which I've sort of forgotten. So that's a kind of brief history.
A brief history of your time. So one of the main things that you've done is telescope site testing. Now, I wasn't very clear on what this was, but I chatted with Paul Sutherland today and he clarified it a little bit. What is site testing?
So, well, but back in the 1970s, British astronomers wanted to put large optical telescopes on a good site in the Northern Hemisphere. And so there was a project called the Northern Hemisphere Observatory Project. And as part of that project, there was something called the Site Testing Project. And the idea was to find a really excellent site to put these telescopes. At that time, we had the Isaac Newton telescope at Herstmonceux in Sussex. And of course, you know, Sussex is not really the best place to do astronomy, optical astronomy. So the site testing project was really to find an excellent site. And a number of sites were tested, I think about 9 different sites, including Hawaii, Madeira, site in Italy, sites in the Cape Verde Islands, sites in the Canary Islands, and Madeira. And the site that was eventually chosen was La Palma. And this has now become the Observatorio del Roque de los Muchachos, which is one of the greatest observatories in the world.
Wow. Okay. So what kind of stuff did your day job entail then?
Well,
hang on, Paul. I'm sorry. Just before you carry on, we've just had a comment. Now, I'm talking with a very large microphone and I've got a very loud voice. But Paul, Robin has just commented that you're a little on the quiet side. Could you move a tad closer to your microphone or maybe just come in a little bit?
Test this. I'll ask Robin if this is now clear enough. It's about the loudest I can get.
Better. Yeah, that is much better.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Apologies for that.
No, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you for the production. I was just saying to Paul and Robin this morning how I don't have a producer. I do it on my own. So sometimes they're like the little voice in my ear telling me. It just happens to be in public when they do it. So tell us about what your day job involved then, please.
Well, are you talking about when I was site testing or I mean, my current day job is I'm retired, so I don't do anything at all.
And you eat fish and chips for a living. No, the site testing. I'm intrigued by the kind of stuff that you got up to there.
Okay. So the site testing was more of a night job than a day job. We had a team of observers, maybe 3 or 4 observers per site. And at any one time, there were 2 or 3 observers on the top of the mountain living in a hut. And what we had to do was start our observations at sunset, basic meteorological observations, and also taking trails through the Polaris Trail Telescope to get an image of Polaris as it trailed across the film to check the seeing. And so we made observations every hour on the hour between sunset and sunrise, basically. And then we went to bed, had a few hours in bed, got up about maybe 2 in the afternoon, had some breakfast, did some routine chores, and then we started again. And the routine we had on La Palma was that the observers would stay up on the mountain for 10 nights at a time, and then have 5 nights off. And every 5 nights, a new observer would come on duty and one would go off duty.
Oh, that sounds so good. So I bet there's some excellent camaraderie and amazing dark skies, and before light pollution really kind of became a huge irritant. What was it like up there?
It's fantastic. Now, have I frozen?
No,
Sorry.
we can still see you.
It's a fantastic site. Of course, in the 1970s, there were no buildings at all on the top of the mountain, only our wooden huts, really. Very little light pollution, and on La Palma there is a law which is designed to promote the dark skies of the observatory. So I believe that artificial lighting is restricted in some way on the island. I don't quite know exactly how, but the idea is to protect the dark sky of the observatory. It's a fantastic place to observe. You're over 2,000 meters high. You're above the inversion layer, which is typically at 1,000 meters, which keeps all the smoke and dust below, and also some light pollution if there is any below. It's amazing. Occasionally, of course, you have bad weather, but you get that anywhere.
That must, it's just such a romantic notion, living at the top of it's an extinct volcano, right? Or is it still?
Well, the part of La Palma in the north of the island where the observatory is situated is indeed believed to be extinct. I believe that La Palma is geologically quite young, less than 2 million years old.
That's a baby.
But the mountain on which the observatory is located is one of the older parts of the island, and in the south, of course, there's the active volcano, which has recently been erupting now for 3 weeks, in fact. And previously there was another eruption 50 years ago, and it does erupt from time to time. There we are.
So that is the eruption at the moment. Then what have we actually got happening? That's huge.
So you can see a little mark that says Cumbre Vieja, which is where the vent is. I think there are several vents, actually. And the lava is welling out and then drifting down to the sea. On this picture, it hasn't reached the sea. Of course, it has reached the sea now. Over 1,000 buildings have been destroyed, unfortunately. There's a huge new delta where the lava is pouring into the sea. I think over 1,000 hectares have been destroyed by the lava, and of course this includes not only homes but also banana plantations and industrial sites. But over 90% of the island is unaffected, and presumably this eruption will eventually die down. But so far nobody knows how long it's going to last, and it is actually quite an active volcano.
So are the observatories in danger from this lava?
Not at all, no. The observatories are further north from this point and much higher up, and there's absolutely no danger to them at all. I believe that they have closed the domes during the to protect them from ash. One of the problems, it's not just the lava, but it's also the ash fallout from the volcano. And so I think a lot of the telescopes have stopped observing temporarily until the ash stops.
Yeah, because it'd be kind of like opening your eyes in a dust storm and then keeping them open. Oh, imagine what kind of damage the dust could do to the optics and the machinery.
Absolutely, and volcanic dust is little bits of glass. Sometimes it's very corrosive and could do a lot of damage.
The telescopes would have to have a little.
Imagine cleaning your telescope mirror with sandpaper. You wouldn't want to do that, would you?
No, I don't. It's making my eyes itch.
So
the thought of it.
That's why they closed the dome. So far, luckily, nobody on La Palma has been injured or killed by this eruption.
Right. That's great news then. That is great news. Okay, so you've done La Palma. Where else in the world have you done your site testing?
Well, I started site testing in Madeira in 1974. I spent about 7 months on Madeira, and then I spent about 3 months on Tenerife, which is the next door Canary Island to La Palma. And then I spent about 7 or 8 months on La Palma. And when we finished the testing at that point, the decision had been taken to site the UK telescopes on La Palma. And so there was no more need for any site testing after that. And then after that, I returned to the UK and joined the staff of the Royal Greenwich Observatory, who had the task of building the telescopes and installing telescopes on La Palma, and I helped with that task. And then later I went to Australia to work at the UK Schmidt telescope, which is a survey telescope. And when I was there in the 80s and the 90s, we used photographic plates to do a survey of the southern sky.
Mm-hmm. Is there any problem with the Liverpool telescope?
I would imagine that the Liverpool telescope is also closed at the moment because of the dust, but I certainly haven't heard of any problems with any of the telescopes. They're simply waiting until the volcano stops erupting, very, very wisely, I think.
Gosh, how long would an eruption usually go on for?
Well, I believe that this eruption is taking longer than they expected, and it's been going on for 3 weeks now. I mean, nobody actually knows, and nobody will predict when it's going to stop. But there's no reason why it shouldn't go on for another 3 weeks, at least. So it's quite a long time. And of course, we don't really know what's happening deeper down. There are still lots of earthquakes and tremors, and the magma below this hotspot may be churning around, and you just don't know what's going to happen. So no one can actually say when it's going to stop.
So tell us also then about your time in what do you get up to? Gosh, you have been to the places that I could only dream of going. I mean, I've not even been to Greenwich. What did you do at Greenwich?
Well, you really should go to. Well, sorry, the Royal Greenwich Observatory was based at Hurstmonceux in Sussex. The current Greenwich Observatory is part of the National Maritime Museum in London. So when I was working in Sussex at Hurstmonceux, I was helping the engineers on La Palma. We used to go for visits to check out various aspects of the geology and so forth. I also helped with looking after the finances for the observatory. I had responsibility for contracts and financial work. I also had the opportunity to train as a night assistant on the Isaac Newton telescope while it was still based at Hurstmonceux before it was moved to La Palma. And that was one of my early ambitions. In fact, before getting the site testing jobs, several years before, I had applied to the RGO for a night assistant job, and I hadn't been interviewed, and I didn't get the job. But 7 years later, I did. So that was quite nice.
Yay. So tell us about, are you in any local societies then, Paul?
Well, the local society here is the Whitby and District Astronomical Society. They've been going for, I think, maybe 20 years or so. They meet in a local school hall, or school classroom, actually. And at this school, there is an observatory which contains a 5-inch Cooke refractor, quite a fine telescope. And they also do outreach work, and I've taken part in some of that. And there's a monthly newsletter to the members, which is sent out by Mark, who runs the society. He's very knowledgeable, and he writes a lot of excellent information every month for the members. I think there are about maybe 20 members. It's not a huge society, but it's going for a while.
Wow, I love it that you have traveled the world paving the way for some of the telescopes. That to me is just like, if I met you at an event, I would be following you around like, can you tell me more stories, please?
But I should say that the way I found out about the job opportunity by attending a meeting of what was then called the Junior Astronomical Society, which has now become the Society for Popular Astronomy. At that meeting, one of the astronomers from Edinburgh, from the Royal Observatory Edinburgh, gave a presentation about this testing project and said that, they were recruiting new staff. And then shortly afterwards, I was living in London, and I was acting secretary of the Hampstead Scientific Society, which has another fine Cooke refractor up on the top of Hampstead Heath at Whitestone Pond. And so I received a letter from the Royal Observatory, Edinburgh, that I think they sent letters to all the astronomical societies explaining that they were looking for staff to do site testing. And I thought, well, you know, why don't I apply for that? So I did, and I was interviewed and I got the job. So it's thanks very much to the Junior Astronomical Society that I got into, you know, my astronomical career. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you.
That's really, really nice. I hope you've kept up with your membership over the years.
Well, my membership did lapse while I was in Australia, but I have since renewed, and I have been a member now for a few years. So yes, I do maintain my membership of the SPA. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much for your support, Paul, because I know how much effort goes into running the SPA behind the scenes. And of course, it's all voluntary, and we're always looking for people to help us out. I know Robin is amazing with the magazine and all of the other stuff he does as well. So have you ever actually contributed to the magazine?
Well, I actually edited one issue of Hermes before I started site testing. So I did contribute, and I have written a couple of articles, but this is many, many years ago. I have to say that Robin is an absolute legend. He is the backbone of the SPA, has been for decades. And to be honest, without Robin, I'm not quite sure where the society would be.
Do you know, I tell you who's absolutely spineless and who's not got a backbone at all? Have you met Cosmo before?
I've seen Cosmo on some shows of yours before. Yes, indeed. Yes.
He is our traveling sloth, and he is about to do his little feature in a moment, and we're going to be playing a guessing game. Where has Cosmo been to? Paul, it has been an absolute delight to have you on. Thank you for your incredible tales, B, your contribution to astronomy, and C, supporting the SPA for so many years. And I'm so glad that it changed your life like that.
Thank you.
I'm very good. And I do believe that you'll be buying all members of the SPA fish and chips in the forthcoming week. So thank you very much.
I can assure you that any visiting member of the SPA who wishes to drop by will be offered fish and chips. Absolutely.
Whoa, there we go, everybody. Pile on round to Paul Cass's. Catch you later, Paul. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Oh, love it. Love those tales of site testing in La Palma in a hut at the top of an extinct, air quotes, volcano. How have your skies been this week? Have you written in the comments what you've seen this week? Yeah, that was a great presentation. Thank you so much, Paul. Oh, and Paul as well. He became a site tester after seeing a mention in the Jazz Junior Astronomical Society news circulars edited by Robin. There is a 6-inch Cook telescope in the Airdrie Public Observatory, Airdrie, North Lanarkshire, Scotland, run by the, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, by the Airdrie Astronomical Association. Thank you so much, Owen. Ian, who's Owen? Oh, he was on before. Interesting career, Paul, in practical astronomy. By Paul. Yes, thank you, Paulina. That is great. Okay, so just to recap, we have a small but feasible price hike in Plug the Mugs coming up. So if you want your SPA mug, if you want 3 of them living under your bed in a cluster, like in a little harem, feel free. The jewelry isn't going up in price, but the merchandise is, and that's because our shipping company is putting up their prices. It's not because Robin and Paul want to grow fat on the profits, I promise you. So what have you seen in the sky this week? Wow, do you know what I saw last night? I was pedaling home from drinking alcohol-free beer in the pub, and it was a clear night, and hang on a minute. The sky lied last night. The sky lied to us. Do you know why? Because there was a beautiful, deep, beetroot red blush of a sunset over the sea, out to sea. In fact, I could show you the picture. Oh, it's on my phone. Can't show you the picture. And it was a stunning, smouldering ember of a sunset with a beautiful crescent moon low and large on the sky. Thank you, Ponzo Illusion. And Jupiter and They looked incredible. And then we've had the most boring overcast day here. My mum arrived. Of course, we're on Anglesey. We want to go to the beaches and do lots of nice walks, but it was really rubbish weather today. Don't know what the forecast is, but last night I did get out and I saw a glimpse of Cassiopeia through the clouds. Still not seen Orion yet. Have we all seen Orion yet? I saw Pleiades about a month ago, but I never got around to seeing Orion. How can you order the merchandise? Well, thank you for asking, because I forgot to blimmin' say. You go to popastro.com and go to the shop, and I'll drop the link here. It's right here, Paulina. If you want to buy all of the plug the mugs, no plug included. There it is. Right, okay. So, banners, brand, right, here we go. Guess what's happening right now? He's been flying around the solar system, or maybe a bit further. But to the casual observer, he's a mithering, pestering sloth. Where have you been to this week, Cosmo? Cosmo, where have you been? 3 clues. Only answer after the clues. Cosmo over and out. Now, apparently, the word mithering is not common parlance in certain parts of the world or even the country. I'm sure Robin had to check that it was a real word. Maybe it's just a northern word that goes along with mithering and skriking. Robin, do you know what skriking is? Sorry, I'm slipping down off my chair here. I just need to recalibrate my rump. That's better. Okay. Cosmo, where's he been to this week? Oh, me, thank you. No, she meant me, Cosmo, not you, because he does get a lot more fan mail than me. Thank you, Paulina, that was so cute. Okay, Cosmo is going to read out. No, he's not. Vicky, it's been 18 months now. You'd think you'd know that it's you who read out the clues, not the sloth. Cosmo every week jets off somewhere different. I'm going to read out 3 clues. These are brain teasers and not to be confused with fastest fingers first. Oh, those biscuits are hurting my tummy. Mithering, familiar to me from Sheffield, northern word. Mithering, Ray, mithering me to send you an email. Use an example of mithering in a sentence. I'm so sorry, Ray. I've been skriking so much that I can't send you an email back. But I did, at least I've done volume 1 of the email. Mither, verb, northern dialect, to fuss over or moan about something. Pestering, mithering, sloth. Right, 3 clues. Just wait for a minute for me to read them out to give everybody a chance. Otherwise, it's contractually obliged. He will bite my face in the night, and he's got a taste for eyeballs. So please think of my eyeballs. No, never heard that either. It was not common parlance in my family. Maybe your family was just so perfect, Robin, that no one mithered or skriked. Okay. Where have you been to this week, Cosmo? There's a strange sound. And it's coming from everywhere. It's coming from everywhere. Okay. That's your number 1 clue. The second clue is he's inside a curiously shaped artifact. It's 15 meters in length with a radiating aperture. No, I'm sorry, 15 meters, not feet, in length. And it's 6 by 6 meters. And it's constructed of aluminium. What a strange place. So there's a weird noise coming from everywhere, and it's a curiously shaped aperture that's 15 meters in length with a radiating aperture of 6 meters by 6 meters. And what do you mean, Cosmo? There are pigeons in here. Get out. Shoo. There are your 3 clues. There's a strange noise. It's an odd-shaped artifact, and there are pigeons. Where have you been to this week, Cosmo? This top is getting really, really hot right now. Off you go. Answers. I am wearing another very hot top underneath the moon suit. Cosmo, where have you been? Nobody. Scrike is Scouse from Liverpool. He's been listening to my guitar. I've seen your videos, Ian, and I know that that's not true. Your guitars are very good. Have you got more guitars or telescopes? What have you got most of? Probably guitars, I'd say, Ian. Where has he been? Oh my gosh, I'm getting so hot. Jodrell Bank, Madeline, sorry. Oh, we've got a correct answer. We've got the correct answers coming through on the M8 bus. Okay, the James Webb Telescope. Good answers, everybody. Oh, you've all done so well. Right, the correct answers. The first one that popped through on my answer phone was Catherine Grimes, the radio telescope where Wilson and Penzias discovered the cosmic microwave background. Well done. David Deegan got it right as well. Mostly guitars. The antenna where the CMB was detected, the big ear. Well done, Sean. Hi, Sean. How are you? Okay. Oh, no one got the correct name. Cosmo's got the Holmdel horn. Is that the Holmdel horn in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me, Cosmo? It's 9 p.m. We've just gone post-watershed. I can make mildly risque jokes, I do believe. Yes, the Holmdel horn antenna. It's the discovery of the cosmic microwave background radiation, which constitutes a major development in modern cosmology. In 1964, US physicist Arno Allen Penzias and radio astronomer Robert Woodrow Wilson discovered the cosmic microwave background, estimating its temperature as 3.5 Kelvin. So there we go. Everybody, you have been a wonderful audience tonight. Thank you to Owen. Thank you to Paul. Thank you for all the lovely comments. I'm just going to sit back here. Me and Cosmo are just going to chill for 10 seconds and wait for the answers to come. Any last comments? AOB, any other business? Because usually I cut off the broadcast and then I get all these nice goodbyes and what have you. That would be good if you want to speak now or forever hold your comment. Why don't pirates have sloths on their shoulders instead of big, angry, terrifying parrots? Wouldn't it be much better to have a sloth on your shoulder? Thank you. Oh, thanks. Oh, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Do you know what? I've got a little secret to tell you all, everybody. I've been doing the show for roughly 18 months, probably a bit less now. And I've been having second thoughts about it. Just because, it's a thing and, maybe a little break. And then I thought with winter coming and me in a holiday park in Anglesey with no one to talk to, you people are my friends. So there is no way am I giving the show up. Absolutely no way. Oh, thank you, Paul. Thank you for your help as well, Paul. Honestly, big love to you, Paul. Yes, great to see Owen on the show, Gwyneth. Thank you for your contributions. Oh, thank you. Pigeons were a clue. They had to remove white dielectric material. Bird poo. Or was it Cosmo Cack? Okay, thank you, everybody. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Please, everybody, tell your friends about not only the Pop Astro Live, but also the SPA. If you've got any astronomy friends, by rights, we should all be members of the SPA. It's a fantastic organization. I should have a Sky party. Well, that'd be lovely, Ian. Oh, no, thank you. I'd miss me too. I really, really would. Right, everybody. Thank you so much. Do you know what's starting right now on, I think it's Channel 5, Yorkshire Farm? I love that program. I only watch about 3 programs, and that is one of them. See you all. Good night from Vicky and Cosmo.